code, tribal code, which again Farhad Taj has challenged, saying that the understanding of Pakhtunwali is extremely shrouded by Western perception, and that is why people are saying that they give shelter to these people. And she says actually when they were fleeing, she has recorded in her book that there were ISI and army agents standing on the border. Some people returned to their families, some returned to madrasa and mosque, and those who had nowhere to go were taken by ISI and even provided things like blankets and medicines. Seth Jones identifies, she said, by 2007 there was a consensus that Pakistan's ISI Directorate has continued to provide assistance to Afghan insurgent groups. Ahmad Rashid says, the aim behind letting Taliban settle in Waziristan, that's Pakistan's aim, was threefold: keeping the pressure on Karzai to bend to Pakistan's wishes, keep US forces under threat while maintaining their dependence on Pakistani goodwill, and create a buffer zone between Pakistan and Afghan Pashtuns. Now, Farhad Taj says that they entered Waziristan with full state consent, and all the tribesmen who opposed their entry were killed with state collusion by the militants. Those that were left ran away or overpowered by the militants. If Pakistan state wants today, no militant can ever stay in Waziristan or elsewhere in FATA. It is a myth that FATA tribes gave refuge. These are the various military operations which took place, which have very interesting names also, but I'll just quickly run through them. This is June 2002. Pre-2002, there are two operations, Operation Mizan and the operation 2004 when we were. But post-2004, we find these operations in specific areas. Then this is from 2006, you find continuous flow, and the more popular one is Operation Sherdil, Rahe-Nijat, Rahe-Rast, which is the last one which took place as you can see the names, and just see the last column, this is one of the big problems or implications for Pakistan. These are the IDPs created. And I think barring the Swat region where Americans have lent some help, they still are living in pitiable conditions. And the worst part is that Pakistan has defined this displacement in terms of collateral damage. That is what they say to the schools and hospitals damaged also. Now, peace deals. Pakistan's strategy has been twofold. A were these various operations which I just mentioned, four prominent being Sherdil, Rahe-Rast. Pakistan tried to cultivate deals with them at various points of time, but none of them succeeded. Some of the important deals were the Shakai Agreement, which started with Naik Muhammad in 2004. Some people say it was just verbal, others have said that they were agreed. Now the agreement broke down. The main contentious point was shelter to foreigners. Either in these deals this issue was not mentioned, or whatever was mentioned was either violated by the state or by these tribals. So the next important was Saroga Accord, where the Mahsood, the Mahsood and which brought about conflict between Mahsood and Wazirs. Wazirs thought that Mahsoods were favored in this, and as attack resumed, the deal again fell through. Now, these are the Miram Shah deal. Then 2007, this is the one with Maulvi Fakir Muhammad is much talked about because, in one US drone attack, 80 seminary students were butchering. It was very, very hard. If you see the pictures, they really move you. The argument is that the US wanted to, end this agreement, and that's why they had. This is the Swat peace deal. Ultimately, Swat, they had to carry on military operations. Swat differs from all these regions in Malkand Agency in the sense it is very much part of Pakistan, and therefore all the laws that are applicable in Pakistan apply to Swat, unlike FATA, which is run by FCR, which is 1906 was the last reform that was brought up. Recently, last year, FCR reform, FATA reforms have been brought about, but whatever we study from the Pakistani papers, none of them have been implemented, although Political Parties Act is also to act on them. What are the implications of these actions in the various Taliban resurgence as well as actions of Pakistan government? One, Talibanization of Pakistan Afpak border, which was never before. The sanctuaries and training camp recruitment has started there. The area is used for arms and other supplies. Large-scale violence. Just see how many people year after year, post-2003, And this is what the numbers which have been given by various sources. Now, another thing which Pakistan government did was creating anti-Taliban lashkars. 10 minutes. In this anti-Taliban lashkars, what happened was, which the state created to fight them, they ultimately joined the Lashkar, the tribals themselves, and so did the frontier constabulary. The kind of violence that perpetuated also became multifold. Rise in sectarianism, Punjabi Sunni militants, the rise of, of new, and FATA started attracting even more foreigners which were being sheltered, especially in Khyber and Mohmand areas. Now, in religious radicalization, people say rise of MMA, which I think there were factors other than just radicalization or Talibanization, which led to rise of this. In Swat, you had Shariat imposed, and then, Lal Masjid, about which much has been talked about. Stephen Cohen makes an important point. He says, army in Pakistan will never allow religious radicalization. Rise in criminal activities, like it happened in Punjab once upon a time. Every action that was taken place was dubbed as a terror act, and this is what has happened. Now, there's a difference between Afghanistan and Af and Pak region in this context. The drugs grow in the Afghanistan region. They don't in Pakistan. They generate money in transportation, smuggling, whereas in Afghanistan, the drug is generated by cultivating. Now, there's a code of conduct which says, this is the Taliban code of conduct, and they say in abductions, extortions, all these, if they are for the purpose of Islam. Targeting civilians, targeting political leaders. As I say, there are a variety of factors. In fact, including Benazir's assassination, there are a variety of views of who actually killed her. Targeting infrastructure, within FATA, outside FATA, killing leaders inside FATA, outside FATA. This is politically the changes in FATA administration system, which I told you FATA reforms were brought about, a parallel justice system has come about, there, and this is the situation. Then, what are Pakistan's external relations? I quickly run 3 slides. In 1 minute, we finish the presentation. These are 4 reasons. We had on strategic depth on Kashmir. There's a huge report on when the Tora Bora took place. The militants deliberately carried out attack in J&K Assembly, attack in Parliament, to get government of Pakistan's attention towards the military activity. Now, I do not subscribe to this theory of jihadis laying their hands on nuclear bomb, and we can discuss it on question answer session. India-Pakistan factor in external relations will be affected, and Taliban is one of the factors. Pakistan's relations with Iran, seeing because of Iran's treating Herat as a region to capture influence, the Shia factor in the insurgency which I have just discussed. Iran opposes US troops, moves close to India, and is worried about Quetta Shura and Saudi influence in the resurgence. And therefore it has reacted by projecting Chabahar or Afghanistan linkages. In Central Asia, the place used for transportation in case of energy, in case of general transportation route also, Pakistan's objective in creating, resuscitating Taliban is protecting its interests in Central Asia. China, we know there are twofold problems. One, Chinese have economic interests in Afghanistan, the copper mines, but Chinese have a problem of terrorism in Xinjiang. And in Lal Masjid operation took place largely because Chinese workers were hijacked. Trade with Afghanistan, which has got affected, and ATT has come about largely because Pakistan wants to prevent India's trade with Afghanistan and is extremely worried about Indian consulates. Energy, both the pipelines, these are the challenges of Pakistan's fighting the Taliban issue. One, ISI militant nexus. Two, Pakistan's strategic ambitions in Afghanistan and India. Poor coordination between Pakistan Army and NATO ISF. Terrain and natural calamities, that is the 2010 floods, and Hamid Karzai's failure to make Afghanistan a functional state, and abundance of drug money. I have 2 questions and conclusions. One, will Pakistan Army suppress all Taliban militants at any point of time, especially in the post-withdrawal phase? And secondly, what will be Pakistan's political space in the post-withdrawal Afghanistan?